Hello! In this video we're going to make a basket to accommodate our egg, chick and hen using hooked Cordino yarn in Sandy Ecru. For the basket you're also going to need a 5mm crochet hook, a yarn needle and scissors. Let's get started. To make the basket, start by following the pattern from round 1 to round 7. Round 1 to 6 is to make the base of the basket, and round 7 is worked in the back loop only, so that the basket can start growing upwards. Now let's move on to round 8. On round 8 we're going to start to create the lattice effect pattern on our basket. For this we're going to use the spike double crochet stitch. The spike double crochet stitch is also known as the elongated double crochet stitch, which is basically a double crochet that's a bit longer. So let's get started. For our first spike stitch, instead of inserting my hook on the top of the stitch, as you usually do for a double crochet, you're actually going to insert your hook at the bottom of the stitch, so one round below. Insert your hook at the bottom of the stitch and make a double crochet stitch. You have to pull the yarn up so that you're at the same level of the round and finish the double crochet stitch. This is a spike stitch. Now we're going to make one double crochet stitch and we're basically going to repeat this pattern all around round 8 to create an effect of spike, double crochet, spike, double crochet. Let's continue. For round 9, we're going to continue with this pattern, but now starting the round with the double crochet stitch and then moving on to the spike stitch. So basically, if you're on top of a spike stitch, you're going to make one double crochet stitch, and if you're on top of a double crochet stitch, you're going to make a spike stitch. By alternating the spike stitch and a double crochet stitch and changing it up in the rows, that's how we're going to create the lattice effect on the side of our basket. So now simply continue following along the pattern until round 11, so that round 10 will be the same as round 8 and round 11 will be the same as round 9. And then we'll meet again to finish off the edge of the basket. Once you've completed the side of the basket, this is what it will look like. As you can see, alternating between spike stitch and double crochet stitch creates this nice effect. Now, before moving on to the handle, we need to make a proper edge for our basket. So on round 12, we're going to do one slip stitch in each stitch. So go ahead and make one slip stitch in each of the stitches of the basket. Once you've completed round 12, this is how the basket will be. As you can see, the slip stitch creates an edge on the basket that's a lot neater than the way it was before. Now, next we're going to make the basket handle. Do not cut the yarn, as we're going to continue directly from where we finished the round to make the handle. So, for the handle, we're going to chain 35. So, continue directly from here and chain 35. After completing your chain, this is what you'll have. Now, what we're going to do next is basically join the basket handle on the opposite side of the basket. Now, what's important to know is that the basket handle has 3 stitches on one side at the base and 3 stitches on the other side. This will help secure the basket handle so it stays up. So before joining the basket handle, we need to understand which stitch we're going to join in. So you're basically going to count 23 stitches from the right to the left, and you're going to join your chain on the 23rd, okay? So let's count the stitches. This is where the basket handle begins, so count at the next. "23", this is the 23rd stitch. This is where I'm going to join my basket handle. Another thing that's important is that you want to make sure that your chains are all facing the same way, that the chain is not twisted, okay? So once you're sure everything is in the right position, you can make 1 slip stitch to join your basket handle on the opposite side, on the 23rd stitch. Now you're going to make 2 more slip stitches on the side of the basket handle. So 1 slip stitch in the next stitch, and a 2nd slip stitch in the next stitch. Okay, now we've got the base of the basket handle on this side, and we're ready to start working on our chain. So to work on the chain, we're going to first make chain 1, and basically we're going to work on the 3rd loop of our chain. So if you look at your chain at the front, you can see V's make up each of the chains. This is the front loop and this is the back loop. And if you turn the chain around, there's a 3rd loop, also called the back bump. And we're going to work on all the back bumps, all the 3rd loops of the chain. So you're going to take your chain, turn it around so that the back bumps are facing you. Make sure this one is showing. And you're going to insert your hook through the back bump of the chain and make 1 double crochet stitch. And you're going to make 1 double crochet stitch through each of the back bumps of the chain. So keep doing this until you've reached the last back bump. Once you've reached the opposite side, you're going to skip the next stitch next to where the basket handle started and make a slip stitch in the 2nd stitch. So skip this one, and in this one we're going to make a slip stitch to secure the end of our basket handle. Now simply cut the yarn and pull the loop. Now to finish, all we need to do is sew this hole closed right here and within our yarn ends. So to sew the hole closed, you can either use a yarn needle or even your crochet hook if you don't have the appropriate size, and just bring the yarn tail through your work to close the hole, and then do the same on the inside to within your yarn ends. Do this for all the yarn ends that you might have so that your work looks neat on the inside. Once you're happy with the weaving, simply cut the yarn and you're finished. With your hands, adjust your basket base and your basket handle to complete the work. Once you've completed your basket, this is what it will look like, and you can then use it to store all our little amigurumis. The hen, the chick, and of course, the egg. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll be using all the amigurumi skills and techniques you learned in the future for all your beautiful projects. Thank you for watching.